What is up, my World of Magic players? We are back again, once again, with patch notes. These are going to be the patch notes for August 26th, 2026. And I'm going to be adding the patch notes highlights on the screen, however we will be going through them one by one. There's also a really big quality of life update for the hunting ground. However, I'm going to do that at the end of the video as I want to get through the rest of the patch notes first and then go in depth with that. We're going to start off with a little bit of whimsy, the Octopus Head Craft and Dye event. This event isn't anything really crazy. It's going to probably be another collection event, and then you're going to turn in and get an octopus hat. However, you're going to be able to trade in dyes for new colors, and that will go towards your collection event total. And as we all know, a little bit of extra HP goes a long way for all of the classes. If collection isn't really your thing and you're more of the training to get stronger type, they definitely added something for you. Starting at level 28, you're going to gain access to the Light of Resurrection questline. This is a continuation of the questline that they gave you at the start of the game to help flesh out the story of the World of Magic and give you extra XP to help you along the way. This continuation is going to be in the Crown Rock area, which is also going to receive a huge overhaul. None of the details are known yet, however it looks like they're going to be reworking the maps Isla Lab, Isla Temple, Anguish Altar, and even the Ancient Passage. I'm really hoping they give even more XP than the Sky Castle quest because it really helps out those awkward levels between like 28 and 32 where you don't really have good mobs to fight against, and even in the hunting ground you're still a bit too low level that you'll actually start getting torn apart a little too easily. This is a really good middle ground to help flesh out those levels. But with that, we get into my particular favorite of this drop, the instant dungeon resets. IDB is obviously a huge tool in the free-to-play player's arsenal. Being able to fight these bosses on a timetable every week without needing to worry about getting it taken or killed or hunted because of it is a huge boon, and being able to do it twice or even 3 times in 1 week, huge. So for IDB 20 to 25, there's going to be just 1 reset available. For IDBs 30 to Endless, we're actually going to get 2 resets, meaning you can do the instance about 3 separate times. These are actually getting me hyped. I really hope I get another Weapon S drop. It would be so hype. I've been needing the money since I reached level 44. For those of you interested in Guild Siege Battle, it looks like Season 16 is over. Season 17 begins right when the update comes, and you're going to get your chance to get on the leaderboard. You know, if you're part of one of the top guilds. If you're not, you're kinda screwed out of luck. But if you're an up-and-coming guild, hey, you might still have a chance. It's still possible. I'm not really into the siege battle myself. It really conflicts with my schedule, so I'm never able to get on in time. Now we're going to get into the cosmetic stuff. We got a continuation of the World 6 Avatar, Part 3 coming out. And this one's going to be available until December 21st maintenance, so you're going to have a couple months to get this one. The complete set actually looks so badass and futuristic, I'm actually kinda jealous. I really wish there was more free-to-play options with the costumes. I know you'll be able to potentially buy them on the the Black Trader. However, why can't they become more available? It'd be so cool. We're gonna go ahead and leave the realm of badassery, and instead we're gonna slide into something a little more cozy. We got the Pajama Party Random Costume Roll, and this is going to be available under the Fluffy Yarn section in the shop. And this is going to be available until October 27th, so you got plenty of time to start doing your rolls. That's an entire 2 months. I know I'm going to try and be rolling for one of these hoodies. I really like the frog one. I'll be looking at people with 4 eyes. And then for our returning costume, we have the Alexan of 2 Moons set. It's similar to the previous Theodore set, however it seems a lot more customizable and allows your own character's personality to shine through, whereas the Theodore set was just more cloaked in shadow, looked a little more mysterious, but doesn't allow your character to kind of shine through. And if we're talking about costumes, we can't forget the pet costumes. So going in order from uncommon to rare, we got the Diligent Otter, the Hard Turtle, and the Azure Koala. And going into the rare set, we got the Sea Prince, Slowpoke, and the Eucalyptus. I was more of a fan of the last set, Lupin and Wild Bulldozer were always a favorite. However, I'm really excited to get the Sea Prince back and the opportunity to get Eucalyptus and Slowpoke. Always going to be helpful, especially for the pet collection system. From here on, it's going to be the pretty standard, set of box packages. We have the Call of the Battlefield, we have Hunting Hidden package and the Contention package. And then we're actually going to have the standard Hot Time and Way of Adventure event. All of these are pretty standard, happen every month, not too worried. We also have the start of the month packages, you know, the special discounts are going to be available at the first of the month of September and are going to be available for the first week. Okay, so now regarding all the hunting ground changes, I'm going to try and shotgun all of them into one section as quickly as I can. First things first, when you want to enter the hunting ground, it's going to display that there is space available, and when there is not, it's going to say you're still waiting. So that way you don't have to worry about getting into queue. If there's available space, you can just hop right into it. There's now an automatic difficulty selector. Instead of being able to pick which level you're trying to get into, it'll automatically pick the level appropriate for you. One of the bigger quality of life changes is the altar activation system. So instead of having 2 different plains and 2 different wetlands, you're actually just going to get 1 and 1. This streamlines the process, makes it easy to select which map has the altar, and it'll show you how many people are on each map at that current moment. They've also made it easier to activate the altars on both maps. They've raised the points you get for defeating monsters from 4 to 6, and they've also displayed how many points you get for killing other player characters. This will make it easier for people who are just training to actually get the altars on other maps, and it'll make it easier for people to know that you don't have to keep killing the same person over and over again. The status board also got a quality of life change by adding what the buffs for the altars do and whether or not they are active. They also streamlined the portal system, made it easier to understand where the portals lead to and where they are. They also added a return portal, so you don't have to waste recall scrolls just to get back to Tim and base. If you're too far away from the return portal, they also added NPCs that return you back to Tim and base, and they'll be scattered around the map so you don't have to go back to one point just to get back. If you enjoy PvP in the hunting ground, they've also made it so that any allies would be green nickname versus just the standard white nickname, so you don't get them confused with enemies who you are able to fight. Now for what I would consider the biggest nerf in the hunting ground update, is that now instead of having 4 hours per character, you're going to have 4 hours per server. Now for clarification, this means that if you have 2 characters on the same account in one server, you're only going to be able to use the hunting ground for 4 hours between those 2 characters. This is a significant nerf to anybody who's trying to train 2 characters on the same account. And it's honestly, I would say, probably one of the ideas that I don't really enjoy. I have 2 characters that I use in the hunting ground constantly, so it's rough. However, as for a little bit of a silver lining, they did add a new item which will increase your time in the hunting ground. Mana Purification Stones 60 minutes and 70 minutes. Now, 600 platinum is not cheap and neither is 1,000, however, if you're a particular, you want to train as much as you possibly can, these will definitely be items that you're going to want to purchase. They also added protection from particular whales in the servers, as you're only allowed to purchase them once per account, making it so you'll have even footing with everybody else. The final quality of life change is actually going to be in the Sinar Plains, the Overbloom trap. Previously, if you were in Sinar Plains and an Overbloom happened to be taking place, you would have to just randomly search for it, there would be no indication on where it was, and it's basically random whether or not you got it or not. With the streamline of just having one Sinar Plains and the tracking for the Overblooms, I'm hoping that they'll probably make it more accessible and or make more of them spawn whenever the event happens. And that concludes the August 26 patch notes. Is what I would say if Come To Us didn't tease a little something about the next equipment update. That's right, folks, new equipment is actually going to be dropping from the hunting ground instance, and we have no information so far. We just have an outline, we just have 4 lights showing all 4 different types of class equipment. Frankly, I'm kind of worried that they're going to be like level 50 plus items that are going to be unavailable for any casual player of the world of Magic. But only time will tell. I'm hoping that I get more info and that any pros who actually end up getting them will be willing to tell me anything about them. Just looking at the new designs has me in complete awe. I am excited. I don't think these are going to be costumes, but it'd be really cool to have these available. Look at how badass you'd look just holding that bow or that sword. Oh, I'm just so excited. But that does conclude what we have today for the August 26th update. If you enjoyed the video, or you happen to learn something that you didn't already know, leave a like, drop a comment, follow. I plan on doing this more long term, and I really enjoy playing Twom. It's so nice. The community, generally is fairly nice, and it's just such a fun game overall. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all gamers go. Happy hunting out there, and good luck. Peace.